Hey everybody, it is Monday, January 2nd, 2017. I have an important video to make for you. I have not made a video in a bit, but I was compelled by a couple things that have come to my attention. The first thing I want to talk about is this book, Student Guide to the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. And if you watch my videos, you understand that we are in civil law, Roman civil law. But the significance about this book is this is what, 12th edition, this is produced by West. West is what they use as references for pretty much all things. West Keys is what they use in the now, quote, Black's Dictionary, which is not the Black's Law Dictionary anymore. If you look, the people who bought it are using the name Black's Law Dictionary. Even still, it's a good resource, kind of. It's questionable if everything in there is accurate, being that it is not Black's Law Dictionary, and they probably have torn a great many things. I know that there are some key things in the 9th edition that are missing, but they've added a lot of Roman civil law in there, so it's an evolution. Still, to be noted that Black's Law 9th is not the original Black's Law. It is now owned by an entity that is not Black's Law. They're just using the name Black's Law. So something of note there. So this is produced by West, which is referenced all the time in the new Black's Law 9th. They're West Keys. And this is section 1.9, jurisdiction over persons or things, requirements for in rem jurisdiction. Now in rem means actions and things, actions of things. And this is what section 1.9 is on page 22 of this student's guide. So this is the book that attorneys are given to learn law, quote unquote, at law, and are guided in the study of at law, not in law, at law. And it says core concept. It's the title, core concepts. I'm going to read this to you. As its name suggests, in rem jurisdiction is closely related to quasi-in rem jurisdiction. That means fake in rem jurisdiction. It means kind of, quasi. It's like it. Okay? So much so, in fact, that courts occasionally use the two terms interchangeably, because things are kind of things. The most important difference is that in rem jurisdiction usually involves trying title to property, in theory, determining the rights of all people throughout the world in that property. Quasi-in rem jurisdiction, by contrast, usually involves a much more discrete group of defendants, meaning particularities, people, statutes, sophism. So they're going to talk about a discrete group of defendants, keep that in mind, defendants, whose claims are usually far less theoretical. So we're going to the actual particulars of application of the theoretical. So rem is the theoretical constructs of things to them, and quasi-rem is when they actually go and apply it to defendants as things. In practice, federal courts use in rem jurisdiction infrequently. That is a lie. Everything they do in federal courts is in rem because they can't access the flesh. Everything is in rem, so that's a lie. Those areas in which in rem jurisdiction may most often be employed are actions in admiralty involving shipping on navigable waters where the vessel is seized as the basis of jurisdiction. Subscript 1. Giving you an annotation in positive law. At law or in law, I would have to look at the years. Oh, the first one is 1885, so it would be post-Civil War. Bankruptcy cases, superscript 2, that case is 2006, imagine that. And child custody proceedings. Those cases are 2007, 2008. Yes, you just heard them say that they are using actions in admiralty in child custody proceedings in quasi-rem. So children, as vessels to be seized, as things. The civil condemnation of property that was the instrumentality of a crime. Children as instruments of a crime. which the government now seeks to keep as its own. Children owned by the state. This paragraph in this book is telling you exactly what they're doing with all of humanity. Because if they believe that they own the child and that the child is the property of its own state, meaning the child doesn't even exist the way it's written. The child is its own. The child has no existence without the state. It is owned by the construct theory of the state, and then in quasi-rem, in particulars, they go and apply it to specific defendants who are instruments of crimes. How are children instruments of crimes? This is especially egregious and reprobate. This tells you that they are teaching these attorneys to merchandise children and steal them as things, as what I would enlighten you as auxiliary maritime claims. That's what they are. They are seizing children in auxiliary maritime claims. The states are, not the feds. They're talking about federal rules here. But the states are the ones using the in-rem jurisdictions that the feds have extended to them unconstitutionally and in violation of the Judicial Act of 1789 and the Benedictine on Admiralty that says that states are barred from actions in rem. They are admitting to you in this student primer that they are violating the Constitution in their daily activities, though it's rarely used. Wrong, an utter lie. All proceedings in all courts are in rem. That's why they use the all capital susticate thing, the fiction and law, to attach the flesh. All actions in the de facto courts, forums as courts, of the United States Corporation and their shareholding states of, okay, are in rem. You are a thing. All people are deemed things as property and creations of the state. So that's a very important concept that can't be argued. They're telling you right here, folks. They're stealing children as things, and they deem you as their property. You've been deemed their property from the time you were a child. So that's called slavery. Your state is your slave master. The state is the keeper of the slaves. The federal government is the keeper of the slaves. The state of is the keeper of slaves. So the 13th and 14th Amendment just made all of you all slaves, because the 14th Amendment is what created the fictions in law, the all capital persons, the fictions in law, the corporate things, the trusts. So the Civil War that they told you was fought to free all the slaves is an utter lie. It's a fabrication. It's propaganda. And all they did was put you under military rule and make you all things as property of the state.